Gambit.
Welcome back, Guardian. So I haven't touched on Gambit, it seems like, in almost a year. But I didn't want to just make a Gambit build, I wanted to build the team and give you some strategy, some things that I used to do when I was all die hard into Gambit. So let's get started. Hit subscribe.
Become the beast.
In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my personal strategy that I used to do in Gambit back when I used to be die hard into it. So let's talk about the game plan. I'm going to keep all the roles the same, Sentry, Collector, and Reaper. We're mainly going to be focusing on the Reaper in the build today, but I couldn't make this a complete build to Gambit unless I explain the strategy involved and how you can actually build your entire team together even though Gambit gear no longer exists. 99% of the time, almost I would say 100% of the time, I'm on random teams, so I always like to play the Reaper to at least try to get to the boss faster. But if you were to have the Collector and the Sentry, let's break down their roles. So nowadays in Gambit, to play Collector, your Collector needs to have a boss DPS loadout because he's not going to be focused mainly on ad clear. His job comes into play during the boss battle. The Sentry is going to be built out slightly different, having a mixture of blocker slayers and boss slayer loadouts. But when it comes to your Reaper, the Reaper's job basically is just to create the motes for the Collector to pick up. When the Collector is almost full, the Reaper is going to call over the Sentry to come help the Collector. Then all three Guardians are going to go right back to the center and dump, and the Collector will help the Sentry take out any blockers that have been summoned in the meantime while the Ad Slayer goes back to doing what he does best, which is making more motes for the Collector, and this process repeats all over again. The Sentry is also going to have another job, which is going to be Invader Lookout, which is going to be about 30% on the Collector's radar, but he's mainly going to be focused about helping the Reaper collect all those motes. So a loadout you might want to put on your Sentry player might be Tomorrow's Answer to be able to track anybody. Jotun is also highly effective against invaders as well. So it might sound like a simple job, the Sentry also has an alert aspect to his role. So the Sentry loadout doesn't need to be some fast ad clear slayer action loadout, it just needs to be something for blocker specific with fast time to kills, mixed with a combination of invader weaponry. But if you're on Titan, for example, and you're playing the Reaper role, you might want to use something like Mid-Tree Sentinel with Doomfang Pauldrons or Heart of Inmost Light. On a Hunter, you might want to use Orpheus Rig for the Collector role. This way it increases the team damage to go with Hammer Strike, which can be spammed with Hollow Fire Heart or crushed with Cure Ass. But anyways, one mind-blowing build isn't going to save you on a team of randoms, so even though this build is extremely awesome today, I thought I would give you some team strategies if you and your clan or, your friends want to team up. That was a strategy we did all the time, and it was flawless, so just get you a decent invader, and you're good to go. First things first, let's check out the stats. So, stats are really important.
Enough fooling around.
Like any build, it's just as important as the perks on the build. When it comes to Gambit run and gun, I don't recommend dropping below an 8 recovery. Timing is everything in Gambit, and 8 recovery and up is just the magical number for it. It allows you to push harder, it allows you to slay longer, and when you're one-on-one with a ton of ads, you just have to have it there basically. The 3 most important stats are going to be your recovery, your discipline, and at least hitting that 3 intellect, because 3 to 10 intellect, whether you have Nessin on or not, it doesn't matter. I've done tons of video on this in the past and even more research outside those videos. When you're slaying each ad, the super energy you get, no matter your intellect, is exactly the same. So the faster you slay, 3 to 10 doesn't make any difference at all. It's only when you have a lot of pause time in between combat that intellect matters, and that doesn't really exist much in Gambit, enough to where it calls for replacing more important stats for a stat that's not going to be nearly as important as your recovery and your discipline. If this is your first time hearing this, I recommend checking those videos out and definitely try and get out yourself. An example of somewhere you would want a high intellect build would be Proving Grounds GM Tank Room, using Ursa on a Titan. You'd want to recover that small bit of gap after you first use Ursa so you can pop the super back up again. That's where high intellect kind of comes in. But when it comes to like strikes or master level nightfalls even in Gambit, building out high intellect is just a waste of stat potential. It's a long topic, and there's specialty builds such as Dire Ahamkara mixed with Energy Converter mixed with high intellect, but that's a whole different topic. But in general gameplay or anything like this, stick with 3 intellect and you'll be perfectly fine. The build today is going to be a combination, like a hybrid build of wells and cells. So the cell well build, if you want to call it. 2 concussive dampener is perfect in Gambit. I'm also going to be using Warmind's Decree, because if you're going to ask me what the fastest Gambit build is, it's going to involve Telesto cells, unfortunately. So no matter how burnt out you are on it, if you want to get wins, then put this on. There's only 2 cell mods to this, but they're highly important to have. Also rock 2 fusion finders to keep ammo coming in. The more ammo you have, the more cells you're going to have to also go with Rage of the Warmind. Telesto and Nesin create a ton of super energy, so use Special Finisher to keep ammo coming back even more. That's really the only perks you need on your Bond. You don't really plant that many rifts with this build on, and majority of situations are going to look just like this. You walk in with any kind of void damage, you're going to instantly make a cell, and then blow the cell up, and it's going to create more and more cells. The reason why you don't need Global Reach is because majority of situations in Gambit, the natural radius of a cell explosion pretty much kills everything in sight in most situations, and the other aspects I've chosen to build get more playtime than what Global Reach was receiving, so I chose to go without Global Reach. But it's important to have Rage of the Warmind because every kill you get with a cell explosion contributes to the next cell production. So by not having it, you're only going to create about a quarter of the cells you would have created, which means you're going to lose speed killing ads, and you're also going to lose the Warmind's protection that it's offering you. And even though Gambit ads can be somewhat easy, everybody will find themselves in a fucked position that translates into a win or loss. Your heavy weapon is not so important on this build, but if you are going to use a sword, make sure it's a Falling ENT God roll with either Surrounded or the perks you're seeing in front of you. Swordmaster's Guard is going to give you the fastest power swing charge, so you can keep doing those more and more. But sword is just going to be for a quick knock 'em down moment, which can be really beneficial in ad clearing, but you never know if it's going to be the meatball boss or not, so it can sometimes hinder you when it comes to boss DPS. Gambit ads are easy until you're stuck in situations like this, and these are the situations I build out for. My only job is to stay alive and create moats to get us to the boss as fast as possible, and to get us to 25 moats as fast as possible to start our invasion. The other team is going to be going through the same ad scenarios that I'm going through, but if their build doesn't allow them to enter the most aggro situation and survive it, then I'm constantly going to be gaining a faster time to our boss and get there first. Every game you're going to see today is me and random blueberries from outer space, so I can't help how good the invader is, or if somebody knows how to even play the sentry role or know what it even is, or if somebody knows how to collect moats and do their job. Most of the scenes you're going to see me in today, there's actually nobody ever around me, and that's typical for Gambit teams. You don't ever know where anybody's at, and it seems like every time I enter a location to clear ads, it's just me. So my main job is I have to survive at all costs. Even if I was in a competitive manner on actual team versus another actual legit team, me surviving has to happen no matter what. The combat of Gambit is easy until they start summoning yellow bars after yellow bars, and then the pace starts slowing down, and that's where teams start getting caught up. So I'm not building out for the easy early combat situations. My mentality is I'm building out for the worst possible scenario versus the greatest team ever. So the first part of our build has a mixture of protection and for damage and for ad clearing, and this is going to be the second part of the build, which is meant all around the survival and the backup plan in case we need it. And it's going to be with Explosive Wellmaker, 1 Fusion Scavenger, because Telesto can often function as if it has 2 or 1 on already, and then Recuperation, because with Telesto and with the amount of slaying we're going to be doing, we're going to be making health properties all over the map with orbs and wells of life. I'm also using Fastball because of Top Tree Nova grenades and an SMG loader. We'll get into those 2 aspects later, but let's go back to Recuperation and Well of Life. When it comes to Well of Life, it's not something that you always need to go after. The orbs are there for when you accidentally hit them, unless you actually need them. So are the Wells of Life. They're there if you need them, but don't stray off path if you know you can take care of a situation and you don't need it. It's only when you can sense shit about to hit the fan that you actually need to go out of your way and get them, because again, in Gambit, timing is everything. So if you're going to go out of your way just to touch a Well of Life, when the situation's already under control, then you're just losing time that the other team is gaining simultaneously throughout the entire battle of Gambit. I don't grab Well of Life more than I do grab it. Here's one of those situations where I would recommend grabbing a Well of Life because it's worth it. A lot of ads just summoned, and you can see how this entire situation plays out. I'm granted 50% resistance from Warmind's protection, and I'm constantly getting the health back from Well of Life, and just when I think I might be about to lose control of the situation, I blow the cell up and kill everybody except for the 2 yellow bars. You can see that they almost take me out, but luckily I chose the right primary weapon that's still going to keep me safe in the most BS moments, and that's the multi-mock with Unrelenting or Friction Fire with Unrelenting. I recommend Friction Fire with Unrelenting for Gambit purposes only, not really anything outside of that though for the moment, at least for this season. It might be from trackless waste, but I feel that 900 RPM SMG are just really great for Gambit and the time to stagger. Just having faster firing rate seems to work out a lot better. Even though multi-mock is not really that accurate at all, the benefit that it's a lightweight weapon and a 900 RPM and with unrelenting still makes the weapon acceptable. So even if you do run out of heavy or special ammo, you'll be glad that you have an unrelenting SMG in your hand when you do. If you don't have an unrelenting SMG yet, maybe you have one of these. These are two more that I recommend. One being escape velocity with threat detector, drop mag, Model 8 scope. That goes for the multi-mock also. Model 8 grants the most range and controllability, and then threat detector when you're always up close. And then Vorpal weapon mixed with a boss spec. So if you and somebody else in the other team are out of ammo, it's better that you have 24% bonus damage. Another tip when the boss battle first starts, always save one of your Telesto rounds because you know the wizards are going to spawn again, so always save at least one to pop their shield. That way you're not stuck with doing just primary damage. At least you might have a grenade and the Telesto to be able to take them out faster, to get back to helping your sentry and your collector do more boss DPS. Another primary worth farming is again friction fire, drop mag, either corkscrew or full bore, fill prep, and Vorpal weapon, unrelenting also, or even sympathetic arsenal. But just another reminder about the build. The main feature is making the cells for protection and blowing the cells up for ad clearing. But they're just there for when you actually need them. If an invader comes in, you might want to run over and then grab your well. Don't just waste it just to grab it if you don't need it. Leave them there for oh shit moments. Same with your cells. If you're fighting a boss and you make a cell, let the cell sit there for a minute in case any more ads spawn or if the boss comes closer. And then before the cell disappears, go ahead and blow it up to get that rocket damage with the Rage of the Warmind. Since I mentioned Unrelenting so much in a lot of my videos, if you haven't gotten Shattered Cypher yet with Unrelenting, it's perfect for Gambit level ads, and since they fixed Unrelenting to work on orange and yellow bars and proc health automatically, and because of Gambit ad placements, it's a perfect balance of both where you have an equal amount of damage and health recover properties. Here's an example of this right here. So my primary weapon has Unrelenting, this LMG has Unrelenting, I've got Telesto on, I got Warmind's Protection, I got the Rage on, and I also have the backup plan, the Well of Life and Recuperation, a perfect stat makeup, especially with Nez Sin, and every one of these ads that I run into, there's never going to be a threat, because I'm always healing, I'm always crushing, I have perfect amount of damage for this level tier ads as well, just non-stop. Orange bar in my face, giving my health right back. The only downside is this game started with 2 people that were AFK and then 1 booted, so it was just me for a second, and then finally a team launched in later, but by that time it was too late. I'm going to show you one more situation, and this would be one of the most difficult situations you're in Gambit whenever you're solo by yourself, you don't know where your team's at, or maybe your collector got picked off by an invader. Anything like that could be happening basically. So I'm going to pick up the Well of Life right here. I have no ammo, it's all yellow bar Scorn, which I believe Scorn are one of the most difficult in Gambit to kill, just because they move around so much, and the weapons they shoot, including that crossbow, hit extremely hard. And the team I was on here extremely sucked. Again, didn't see anybody the entire time, nobody was invading, it just all kind of went downhill. You can see that I have that cell made now, and I almost die from that crossbow shot. Luckily I didn't. If you ever watched my first Guardian boot camp, I'm doing the sea walk right here to offset the AI shot pattern so I don't die, and my mobility was at such a level with that lightweight weapon that I was able to drag it over with just enough speed to not fall off. 1 millimeter over and I swear I would have died right there. And then again I blew the cell up, knocked their shields off, and then take them out with that Unrelenting SMG if I would have needed it. And then all of a sudden some random shows up. Now let me give you a bit of a speed boost trick to get you a little bit ahead right as the match starts. As I was saying, timing is everything, but right as the match starts and you launch into the world, if you jump and then boost forward and time it just right, after he says get ready for transmat, about a second later you'll jump and then start boosting, and this will give you like a 1 second advantage against the opposing team. Here's one more without audio. It's not much, but everything matters, and the faster you can get to start doing kills, the better. Now I'm going to show you a few grenade strategies you can do when you're using fastball and the top void grenade. You're going to grenade that back door and just start planting Telesto traps on it over and over again. By the time you get back there, there will be a cell made. Or to get an even better angle on it, you can jump off this tree branch and do the exact same thing. And again, there should be a cell made. As soon as you pop the cell, try to avoid picking up any motes and take off to wave number 2 while the invader, the sentry and the collector all go dump their first motes while you're busy making the second batch. That's when the sentry is going to stay at the dump station, and the invader and the collector are going to follow you to wave number 2 to go pick up whatever motes you need to make a 25 count. That way you can go ahead and send the invader over. Everywhere you see me throwing grenades is where you need to land your grenades as well. They're perfect spots to insta-kill all the ads and start proccing your nest in grenades and start proccing the cells. You can see how many cells I have made right here when I'm about to Nova Bomb all these ads. Here's that same situation again, and watch how fast I get my grenade back. So I just threw my grenade, it's already halfway there, and I have it charged melee, so as soon as I do that, it's for sure going to be back on top of the nest and recharge going on. A great benefit also with Nest Sin is that you can make special ammo not only for yourself, but you can do it for your entire team to prep for the boss battle to help out your collector. And then whenever you're ready for the sentry to come help collect motes to take them back to the dump station, he has plenty of special ammo waiting on him to assist in keeping a clean dump station. Here's the perfect way to go. You jump that pipe, you land right here, and then you hover and always make a telesto shot right in the hallway. That's a hot area for ads to run over, and a lot of the time you get them to blow themselves up. You don't always have to throw your grenade, but if you are going to throw a grenade, throw it in the heart of the area. That way enemies have a chance to run over it and get burned in it. But I'm going to show you that telesto shot again, and this time I actually do hit the enemy because he's standing right there. So it's kind of a 50-50 shot if you want to take it or not. I always do it because the chance of them hitting it is always great. It's like you're planting mines for ads to run into. Here's another example of throwing your grenade in the heart of the area, and this is also why I use the type of grenades I do, the kind that you can stand in, because it's like putting an aura around you, so if anybody rushes you, they burn themselves or stagger themselves at least. And hopefully your team made it to the boss and you had the right loadouts, had that sentry, you had that collector boss DPS, you had that great invader, and you're able to just start shitting on the boss. So you can see right here, me and these randos actually did come together, and it feels good when a random team finally does come together because of all the soul-wrenching losses that can happen. You can see right here this cell, like I said earlier, save those cells, and you can see that I waited for the ads to spawn to then blow it up. And then we have some blockers coming in, but Telesto gonna make some more cells off of them because of Rage of the Warmind contributing to the next cell, mobility jump over the little staircase, and right there with the unrelenting SMG to take the victory. But Guardian, thanks for tuning in today. One more shout out weapon, Memory Interdict. Did put in some work using chain reaction. Your heavy weapon, like I said, doesn't really matter all that much. You don't really get much heavy because the sentry and the invader kind of divide that between amongst themselves, so they can keep that dump station and the invader can't invade. But if you enjoyed this content, if you think this is going to make you a better Gambito, then let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy this content and want to be a part of the growth of this channel to keep it alive and thriving, then definitely click that join button. You can also swipe over to my YouTube store and shop that way, or leave a donation in the About section. Don't forget to join the Discord, where you can download every one of my builds, talk to Beast Guardians like yourself, and find anything out that you want to know in the Destiny universe. But anyways, Guardians, it's been my pleasure once again. My name is Rustopholis, and I'll see you all on the next video next time.